CCW Coastal Championship Wrestling here at the Great Training Facility with Pablo Marquez, head trainer, running CCW with Dan Evans. Pablo, introduce your special guest who's here. This is a rare South Florida appearance.
It's the first ever of the legendary Japanese wrestler known as the Great Sasuke, a man who employed me for many years in Japan. Back in 1999, he brought me the first time, and it's funny how life comes around full circle. Now I bring him here 20 years later. That's why I always tell guys, never forget where you come from. Don't forget the people that were good to you, and the same people you meet on your way up is the people you're gonna meet on your way down. And look how funny life is. I bring him now to CCW.
Great Sasuke, what is it like for you to be here with CCW in South Florida?
Japanese okay?
Yes.
非常に嬉しく思っております。そして非常にエキサイティングですね。
He's very excited to be here in America, and in particular CCW.
Has he ever wrestled in South Florida before?
Have you been here before?
Maybe once or twice.
Maybe probably once.
Yeah.
But very rare, right? I've
Very
never
rare.
heard that.
It's a very special occasion.
What does the mask, what meaning is behind your mask?
Yes. This is kabuki. What do we call? Yeah, Japanese. What do we call?
It's tradition over in Japan.
Yeah, yes.
Tradition and respect for the people that have come before him.
And also the Lucha Libre style, because I was reading that in wrestling, you helped pioneer bringing Lucha Libre to Japan. What does that mean to you to be able to have your legacy being noted to do something like that? How important was that?
非常に難しい質問ですけどもね。
It's been a difficult road for him, but he realizes, understand what he's done.
Were you athletic when you were growing up? Did you play sports?
You play sports growing up? When you were a kid, play sports?
Yes, karate and weightlifting and Olympic gymnastics. Yes.
You also were involved in Parliament, in politics. Is that something you still want to do in Japan?
ちょっと難しいですね、非常にね。
It's very difficult for him to answer that. However, he did it for 4 years, and probably, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for him, but I think he's done with it.
Coming over to America, back in the 90s, the difference between American wrestling, Japanese wrestling, Lucha Libre. Has that changed today? Are they still different, or are they becoming a little more similar? Everyone's using a little more at all the places. Do you find that it's different today or the same today?
I'm changing day by day.
Yeah, I think what he means is that he's also learning as time goes on to do it's getting different for him now at this stage. He's changing his different styles, and you're gonna see a whole new Sasuke tomorrow at One Night Only Season B.
Pablo, too, you can answer this too, because have you seen changes in the Japanese wrestling, the American wrestling, the Lucha Libre from back in the 90s, I guess, and into today?
I'm embarrassed to say that I don't really watch wrestling a lot. I'm embarrassed to say that, but I promised my students just only recently that I was going to keep up with it more. But I feel like it's so different now from when I broke in. I believe it is. But you know, there's a lot more places for boys to work, so I'm happy about that.
Great Sasuke, what are some of your best matches, some of your career highlights? Who comes to mind?
Pablo Marquez?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, absolutely best. Yeah, with you.
I wrestled,
Sure.
I wrestled Sasuke back in 1999 for his company Michinoku Pro, and that was one of the highlights of my life as well.
What was that like?
Of my life, not my career, my life.
What was that like, wrestling there, wrestling in Japan, and then going up against the great one right
Well,
here?
believe it or not, on my debut in Japan, I teamed with him in a six-man. So that was very special for me. And then, of course, back in those days, we worked every single night. We worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We wrestled every night for 4 weeks before we went on another tour. And one of those days, I got to work him actually a couple of times actually. So a big an honor for me as well.
Does he have any other? Do you have any other wrestlers? Because you wrestled so many other wrestlers too, that come to mind. Just very good matches that you've had. It could be 2, 3, 4. Just who comes also into your mind?
Liger, maybe?
Yeah, that must be number one, Liger.
I would say Liger. He's also going to team up with Liger for his retirement match. I think it's next month for New Japan. So he's going to be part of that Liger retirement ceremony.
And Onita.
Onita.
Yeah, explosion match.
Yes, he had an explosion match. Everyone knows about Onita and those hardcore matches. And
Do you train wrestlers? Are you interested in training wrestlers?
do you train wrestlers now? Students? Do you have students?
No.
No, he is wrestling every weekend for Michinoku Pro
Yeah.
and other companies.
Yeah.
Giving advice to others and teaching them in the ring?
He will tonight. He's going to give a lot of great advice. I mean, this man is one of a kind. So I'm sure everyone's looking forward to hearing what he has to say.
And lastly, and again, we're here with CCW Coastal Championship Wrestling right here in Fort Lauderdale in South Florida
right.
at the training facility. Do a tremendous job. What are we got? 16, 17 years strong that CCW has been running in South Florida, running
In
shows.
March, we're going to have our 16-year anniversary show, so we look forward to that as well.
Longest running in the area, maybe longest running in the state,
Probably,
and in
yeah.
a region even. And it's
And-
one of the few that's been running that long, so it's a really credit there. And for you to be able to bring him in, how did that happen? I know the background. You told me the background now, but just how did that happen and being able to get him down now?
I thought of something different. I thought of who's never been down here that I could recall. And again, I say this with very humbly. I never forgot the people that were good to me. I never forgot how he employed me when I was a nobody back in '99, and I'm returning the favor. And again, it's a big. I hold him in the highest regards. So bringing him in was something that was more personal for me than anything else.
So you go and then, have you been in contact with him, or you just reached out to him recently? How did that go?
I just reached out to him recently. I haven't spoken to him in quite some time. I reached out to him recently and didn't think I was going to get a response, but I did, and here we are today.
What do you feel with your legacy? What have you felt that you've contributed, that you've given to pro wrestling?
すごく難しいね。
Are you happy with your wrestling career?
Sure.
I'm sure he's happy. He's done so much.
It's like a ppioneer
Sure,
in many
sure,
ways and a great wrestler.
And probably has never given his proper dues, But this man was I know and I saw firsthand '99 the way he was treated, the way he was idolized in Japan. And I don't know if these kids today would even remotely begin to imagine how that was, but I saw it with my own eyes. So I believe he's one of the pioneers, a big star in Japan, and almost godlike.
Do you have a favorite mask? Pablo, if there's a way to ask that, because does he have many different masks?
many different ones.
Does he have like one that's number one mask or his favorite mask?
Yeah.
This is his
That
favorite
one.
mask.
He'll wear it tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much, Great Sasuke. Thank you, Pablo Marquez.
Pleasure.
And Pablo, if anyone wants to get involved, training in professional wrestling, do we have any information
The
that
only
you can give
place
them?
to train, the CCW training facility here in South Florida. Contact Pablo Marquez on Facebook or Instagram, or my number is 954-548-5779. Training tomorrow's superstars today.
Thank you very much.